What? So some of you do have some awareness there of what captioning is. Let's move into my definition here. And before I get into that, I just should back up the truck a bit. We have two types of captioning. We have one called open captioning and one called closed captioning. Now, open captioning is burnt into the video. You have to do a separate encoding step. So you can't turn it on or turn it off. So that's probably the best definition I can give you. Just open captioning has been burnt into the video track, can't be turned on or off. My first experience of captions and just subtitles was SBS. When I was growing up on TV, that was all I could get. So I'll be watching foreign language films that had the subtitles burnt into the video track. Now that's a translation, so that's why it's a subtitle. It's not the language that's spoken, so they've translated it. Back when I was watching SBS, I was watching it more for the just for the nudity, but just that's when you're growing up. Sorry, move on. Okay, so open captions, just burnt into the video track, can't be turned on or off. Also have the additional information, so they're not just subtitles with a translation. I've got an example here. I'll just play it. Okay, so this is just an example of open captions. It's one I did recently for the NDIS, for their launch. Here we go.
I'm ready to share life with Emma's Life on track.
I'm ready to support my client so that she can grow her business. Yeah, good job.
I'm ready for the challenges and opportunities that NDIS will bring.
I'm ready to provide customer-centered care.
We're ready to support participants to live the life they choose.
I am ready to provide exceptional care.
We're ready to provide more services to the Parliament community. We're ready for better outcomes for children of Parliament.
I'm ready for our participants to have better lives.
Ready for fishing, boating, choice and control, and a Cowboys win in the next grand final.
I'm definitely ready for better social life.
I'm ready for new possibilities. I'm ready for high-tech care.
I'm half.
Paul is NDIS ready to Danny.
John South is NDIS ready.
John Flynn and Cass ready.
My family is NDIS ready.
I'm ready for NDIS.
I'm ready for the NDIS.
Okay, so that was a very basic example. There's nothing to stop each of you today getting to that level like that. That's pretty straightforward. It's been encoded into the video track. So there's a separate process for that. You couldn't turn those captions on or off. They're on the video track. So wherever you circulate that video, the captions follow. Okay, if it's relevant to the storyline, you should even put the lyrics in sometimes if they're relevant. So if there's a few bars of a song that's got a relevance to the storyline, put them in there, put musical notes either side of it. Make it clear that just the captions are conveying that information to me. Put yourself in my shoes. Think about what I'm going to experience when I'm watching that video. This is an example of closed captioning, just on Netflix. So basically, I just wanted to show that just as soon as you're dealing with closed captions, you can turn them on or off. Now, YouTube's a bit different. They might have a different button, but there's basically a button that lets you turn them on or off. So if you don't need them, even though I'm yet to find someone who can really just tell me that they don't really need closed captions. Everyone's got a bit of hearing loss. Why do you turn them off? It's not really doing anything wrong, but just you can turn them on or off there, or on YouTube there's a similar button. So that's the main difference. Now, as I said, captioning isn't rocket science. Here's my definition. The soundtrack of a video represented in the text equivalent. That should be very clear to each of you now. We saw that example video there where we converted the soundtrack information into text. That's all it is. Just if you're a bad speller, you can still do good captioning. Maybe not, but yeah. I'll still get the gist. Just as long as I'm getting the access, I'm happy. We talked a little bit about some of the elements before. Must include the spoken dialogue. Relevant sound effects. That's where there's a bit of creativity there. I'll show you some examples soon, but you might have off-camera type sound effects that are relevant to the storyline. The door might just slam in the distance in a haunted house. We want to hear about that, just as part of that experience. We get shivers too. Our hair starts standing up a bit on our arms. We get that too when we get good captions. Music, creative again. If it's relevant to the story, make sure you put those lyrics in. And I normally just put a musical note, like a clip, at either end. Many times I've been watching TV and they don't even caption the anthem. I'm always a bit upset, just because I'd love to just do that, do the anthem. I don't want to get by say wrong, I want to do the anthem. But it really isn't that hard. All of you know the anthem, so it wouldn't be hard to make that happen. So speaker labels, I don't really I've put that in there at the bottom. If you have a lot of dialogue with multiple parties on the screen, it can be sometimes confusing trying to follow who said what. So if you have a video, I'll show you some examples soon, but you might have Terry and John on the screen and they're both talking very quickly. You can either put the captions under them, so you know who's saying what, or you could have a speaker label. So you can move the captions using positioning as well. And also just to talk a bit more about TV captioning. It's actually required by the law, so there's legislation in place for the Broadcasting Services Act that says you have to have colour. So they have to put captions up there that have colour changes. You don't need to worry about that. You can still give me access without that, and that's my view. Yeah. And you don't have to take as long just to create the captions. Okay, these are my golden rules. You can see them there. They must be accurate, no spelling mistakes. Get people's names right, place names right, product names. It's very important, certainly for the content that you create, to make sure it's in sync with the audio. There's nothing worse for me as a viewer than to have captions that are either 2 or 3 seconds behind or in front with the related soundtrack and visual elements, what's happening. I could still watch it, but it's frustrating and I'm not really enjoying it. Yep. I'll talk a little bit about how we call it saccadic, about eye movements and how they follow the captions. Now, in my view, and this is my view as a captioning user and viewer for many years, it's best not to have captions going for 90 characters in one big line. Best to have 2 equal lengths, just captions making a block, so we can just quickly use our saccadic eye movements, bang, pick that up quickly. It's about readability as well. Yeah. So the semantic structure is important. You've got the time to do that. Finally, if you do come across something where you're just saying, oh, should I put that in? How do I do that? Captioning isn't as hard as audio description, but just think of me today, turn the audio down or off, think about that problem and work through it. I guarantee you'll get it in the end. Yep. It's not rocket science, bang.